Well, first and foremost, I'd like to welcome all our lovely panelists and thank them for taking the time out of their busy schedule to be with us today to discuss the metaverse, the future of it, potential of it, and related topics. Also, I would like to welcome and thank everyone for participating and being with us in this panel today, later today. We'll start the panel off by briefly introducing ourselves, who we are, what we do, and then we'll dive straight into our topic. I won't take too much of your time. My name is Yarkın. I'm the business development manager for Aden Games. We're an indie development company based in Istanbul that dwell in Web3, casual games, mid-core games, and hyper-casual games. So we can start with anyone. Caesar, if you'd like to go first, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, what your company does, and how and why you got into the industry, and then we can start with that, and everyone can give us a little bit insight about their respective fields.
Thank you so much. My name is Caesar. I am a marketing manager for Heroes of NFT and Avalanche native crypto gaming project. We are building one of the first metaverses in the ecosystem. And also we are developing a collectible card game for our project. And a little about myself. I have been interested in crypto since 2017, and I have been, let's say, a game addict for almost let's say around 10 years. So it's a great combination for me to work in this area as a marketing manager. And great to be here. Thanks for inviting us.
Awesome. That's great to hear as well. And we're very happy to have you among us today. Matt, would you like to go next?
Of course. Hey guys, I'm Matt or Matthew. And for many years I was in consulting and really trying to help big companies orient in their data and get the most out of it. So naturally, when I discovered blockchain, I was really fascinated about the stuff that it actually unlocks to the users on the data side, where you just have a public data for everyone, basically. So when we started hearing more about NFTs earlier last year, as naturally, really that's something I really want to be in. And as an ex-gamer myself, also naturally gaming was the way for me. So that's why I decided to start Playgrid this year, actually. And in Playgrid, we are really orienting and focusing on the data and helping game studios reward their players based on the data that we can find across multiple blockchains.
Nice.
Oops, sorry about that. I left my mic on mute. That's wonderful to hear. Thank you for being with us today, Matt, as well. And Ali, would you like to go next?
Sure. Thanks, Yarkın. Hey, everyone. I'm Ali Hamwi. I'm CEO and founder of SIFOR Studios, a game studio based in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. We've been focusing on hyper-casual and casual games since 2018. And recently, we have been focusing on using AI solutions to generate games that can fit the market. And we're moving forward to be a data-driven studio. So most of our ideas are market-friendly. We research well. Then we use a platform called Ludo AI to generate game ideas that have good KPIs. I started my game development journey back in 2014, and till now I've also got in Metaverse projects. One of them was called Metatron Metaverse. It was a project that we launched that focused on the businesses in United Arab Emirates, and we tried to integrate them in the Metaverse. So we kind of got into the entire hype in the beginning. But recently, we've seen that the Metaverse market is kind of slowing down. So we decided to pause the project for a bit and get back to our roots and work on games. That's pretty much it.
Well, that sounds great. It seems like a very solid decision. And, obviously, I'm sure it's good fun going back into the games, going back to your roots. Lovely to have you among us today as well, Ali. So that's basically us in very short summary. So let's dive straight into the main topic of the panel, which is the future of Metaverse. But before we do that, let's briefly discuss what a metaverse is. It's a relatively new phenomenon, a relatively new concept. So why don't we start by defining what exactly is a metaverse? Is it just a VR social platform, or is it just like a sandbox platform for people in VR, etc.? Is it, or is it more than that? What exactly is the definition of a metaverse? Whoever would like to go first, they can just.
I believe I
take
can
the scene
go
here.
first.
Sure.
I think that Metaverse is the new social platform, to sum up, in which we are going to, let's say, transform ourselves into the Metaverse with avatars and be that person in this Metaverse. But also, it is going to be a, let's say, not a unity, but it will be separate. There will be separate metaverses. So I think that in specific terms, it is going to be the next phase of our communication, a way of communication, and also it is going to be a very global thing that, for example, I am living in Turkey, but I will be, let's say, talking with Ali from Dubai, but we are going to see our faces each to each and speak like a in physical way. And we are very early right now, but in the near future, I guess we will see how this definition will evolve.
If I may,
Please go ahead.
I think the metaverse is an embodiment of the internet in general. It's just a term like the internet. It's also, I think, it's an evolution of the game industry and social media together. If we think of it as a way of embodiment of the entire internet in a 3D environment where people could have access to limitless amount of services, just like how we use the web right now, just in a 3D experience where it can connect people and open a new horizon for new solutions for the digital market to thrive.
I think that I obviously agree with both of guys here, and I think that's the beauty, because metaverse is really, it's something different for basically anyone. For someone, it's really just like, having a virtual meeting elsewhere than on your Zoom call is already kind of like being in metaverse. For others, it's really just the Ready Player One experience where you are running with your VR goggles and some suit that's really helping you feel the stuff. I think that's really amazing that like the metaverse is so many things, and today we have over 180 different metaverses, and it's just like, there's so many different things, and some of these metaverses are more focused on the travel, let's say. So they're trying to visualize the world one-to-one to like the big cities. So if you want to travel to Tokyo, you don't actually need to spend half your day in a plane. You just put the goggles on and you go into it and you experience this something. Or you can also do it with the games that, just like better Counter-Strike, let's say, because you can really feel the shots taking your chest with a Tesla suit or something. And I think that, to me, metaverse is even like in the Web 2 space, not just the Web 3. So we have, for example, Second Life that's here since 2003. So it's like 1 year before Facebook and 2 years before YouTube. There was already some small metaverse where people could interact with each other, and it's really like the social network on steroid, as Caesar pointed out. But also we have, for example, Roblox that's beating like 50 million players daily. And it's also pretty much metaverse with their 40 million or something small worlds already built there by the players, by the creators. And we can exactly see the use case there, that people are going to socialize there, but also to play games, to hunt some golden eggs hidden somewhere, or Easter eggs hidden somewhere. So I think it's really amazing that it's like so many things, and I'm really excited to see what will kind of like be maybe the one or few things that will the metaverse be in the future.
It's definitely very exciting, and I feel genuinely lucky that we're within this industry in this time where such technologies are peaking. Like you said, Second Life has been around for ages. The pioneers of maybe NFTs could be considered, like the sales of like CS:GO skins and whatnot. Those have been around ages, but now they're revolutionizing. Just like Cesar and Ali said, it's a more of an embodiment of everything related to the internet. It's not just a social platform. It's not just for gaming. It's not just for socializing or having like virtual experiences in different locations. It's something much more inclusive and comprehensive than that. And it's truly, I genuinely feel lucky that we get to witness these revolutionary steps in technology right now. Those were some great definitions. Thank you for that. Thank you for that lovely insight. Speaking of NFTs, one topic on my mind was, NFTs have been around, and more commonly, the phrase has been used more commonly over the past few years. They've been very hyped up. And what do you think? What sort of role do NFTs have in the metaverse, and what do you think of the NFTs' effect and their role in the future of this cyberspace we defined as a metaverse?
Maybe I can go again first. And actually, I think that one of the point that people misunderstood about NFTs, that NFTs are just about art. Actually, it is very wrong, I guess, because the main value proposition of NFTs is the value ownership. So with NFTs, as I said before, actually all of the participants said, Metaverse is going to be the next place that we are going to interact, communicate. So in our normal lives, we have the ownership of some things, but in the Metaverse, we also need something to own. And NFTs will help us to own different things, different, let's say, materials or etc., anything in the Metaverse. So I believe it is one of the things that we cannot dispense in Metaverse. So yeah, they are going to be the crucial part because of the ownership thing that they are providing right now.
I totally agree with you, Cesar. I truly think that it's just a proof of ownership in that digital space, which is the metaverse. But also, it really depends on which blockchain it's based on. And there's a lot of blockchains out there. So you never know which one is going to be ruling out. So it's quite complicated if you look at it from that perspective, because a lot of people would be interested in maybe having a stable blockchain so they can mint their digital assets in the metaverse on. I truly think if the future of the NFTs in the market can be can be maybe on an entirely new blockchain that nobody's using at the moment because of the fluctuation of all these blockchains that already exist in the market. And we see the crypto market is going down and up. There needs to be something maybe stable, which people could rely on to own their digital assets in the metaverse. I can't really see it happening with the current circumstances that the entire market is going through.
Yeah, exactly. I feel very similar in this point of view. Just maybe one thing to add on top of it. I don't think that it necessarily needs to be NFT by definition, non-fungible token, but tokens in general, because we see some interesting rise in use cases for example, soulbound tokens, which are slightly different than the NFTs. Then we see this like a semi-fungible tokens, which is kind of like NFT, but you can have like more pieces of a single asset. So all of these things, even the normal tokens, like representing some currency or something you can pay with inside the ecosystem, inside the metaverse or anything, and that's definitely something that should be there. And it's amazing how users can really connect with the builders here and have some mean how to govern the space, help participate in it, and not just on the monetization part, but really even on the governance part, where you can use some of these tokens to, for example, vote how the world should look like in the future. I think that it's definitely something that for me goes kind of like hand to hand with the whole concept of metaverse. And it's just better to have it open and kind of like decentralized by tokenizing the assets rather than sticking to the Web2 things and having everything in one single authority.
Safe to say, we're definitely in a transitional state, and there are a lot of very crucial updates in the market the whole cyberspace, the crypto space, the metaverse, the blockchain space, it is very volatile, as you said. On that regard, what do you currently? How would you assess the current market status of the entirety of metaverse? Well, how do you think it's turning out? You know, globally, like region by region, how's the interest? And about Web 2 and the transition from Web 2 to Web 3, there are these stigmas, the absolute no-go zones in people's minds. Certain things, when they hear NFT and they hear metaverse, there's spooks. You know, some people just don't like the word itself, let alone the concept or the idea. What do you think about those types of stigmas? How would you evaluate the situation currently?
Actually, since I am a crypto native person, it is kind of hard for me to understand why people think like, what is the problem with NFTs? What is the problem with cryptocurrencies? But I kind of little bit understanding right now. But for the main question, actually, I think that currently the market is in its infancy, and as every technology have evolved, I believe it will first evolve in the developed countries like United States, because technology is expensive, and no one there are few people that can afford it, so it will start in the bigger countries, developed countries. But I believe that the main adoption will be there who are the early adopters of gaming. So I believe the Southeast Asia will be the ones that will really adapt, because I believe metaverse in general will help to accelerate the gaming industry. But to sum up, first it will start, I believe, in developed countries, but the Southeast Asia will be the main center point of metaverse to grow, I guess.
It's very interesting. Southeast Asia. It's very interesting. Oh, I think there's a bit of a echo going on.
I think we're losing Ali. Maybe it looks like he's frozen a little.
Yes.
I guess I will go now, and Ali can fill then.
Yeah,
So,
let's do it like that. Yeah, you begin.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Ali gets his connection back in the meantime.
Yeah. So I think it's an amazing point what Cesar raised, that the region will differ, and we saw it already with the Web3 games, that the player base was mainly coming from Asia or even Africa, from the less developed countries. But on the other side, the capital was flowing from the developed countries. So what happened is that really like the Europeans and US countries were really like putting their money into the assets and renting them to the other countries so they can play the games, because at some point those access at like price like over 2,000 to just try the game. It's really a lot of money, even for me, and I'm from Europe, right? So I think that's a very interesting point, especially considering the price of the hardware that you need to actually access this like whole immersive experience. Tesla suits still like 12, 13K or something like that. VR goggles, even the Meta one is like what, 500 USD or something like that.
That's not cheap.
So, exactly.
By any standards, that's not cheap. You know, from a global scale. Yeah.
Exactly. And then what else you need to figure out connection to have stable, so you can actually go there, because it's not so easy to stream even a video, like and imagine the whole like space. And so I think like the big problem here, like not just considering the cost, but it's how the Web2 users get information about the Web3 space. We see recently we had a huge boom regarding FTX. Before it was Luna. It doesn't really matter, but what I think is really not so great is that every time you open any media, there is a huge articles about how crypto gets scammed, or somebody exploited something. Ronin chain lost like 600 million. Now FTX burning almost 2 billion of customer funds. And I think that's the biggest problem, that when a regular player or anyone from the Web2 world just opens the media, they saw these articles, and it's really hurting the reputation and kind of like anything from the Web3 world. So then naturally, if you ask them, hey, would you like to have like crypto mechanics in your world, in your game, in your metaverse, wherever, they say, no, I don't want, because it's scam, because I don't trust it. You know, so I think this is really like hurting it. And even more now when the market is down, and the engagement from the Web3 native people that were already inside there, really dropped significantly, and the inflow of new people is really low because they see the news, they see the articles.
Yeah, without a doubt, the whole most recent updates have definitely affected the current market. It's probably going to extend this this bear market that we're in right now. And going back to what Caesar said, I do believe that the whole entire cyberspace of what we talked about is still in its infancy. And personally, I feel like in the future, once it becomes more mainstream, once people get rid of those stigmas, I believe it'll be a lot easier to get people to adapt to that transition. Ali, would you like to add anything else?
Is my voice clear now?
A lot better now, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so I truly think that the current market of the metaverse has been going down for many factors. One of them is the adoption rate of the hardware. It's not yet as good as how much they've been marketing the entire metaverse, And for any new technology to enter the market, it goes through something called Gartner hype curve to figure out whether it's going to stay or it's just going to fade away. And one of these phases is that any new disruptive technology that comes into the market, it needs to go through negative marketing or negative perspective to the mass market because something new. And in order for people to adopt that technology, it needs to be stable enough to go on with the current market circumstances. And since it's been fluctuating, there is all this crypto scams that we hear about, like any of the stories that we heard about recently, that's definitely going to spark a negative perspective of the mass market of such technology. So these two factors do play a big role on how such technology is going to set in the market in different regions around the world.
I totally agree. I'm sure panelists will agree as well. So it's definitely not dead. It's just delayed. These volatile, massive fluctuations have considerably maybe delayed a little bit, but in the future, I also believe as the hardware becomes more accessible, like you and Matt said, as the people get accustomed to these new terms in our lives, like Caesar mentioned, there's about the stigmas. I believe that there's huge potential here. Speaking of potential, obviously one of the biggest projects we all know of, the Zuck, Facebook's Metaverse, massive amounts of investment. They definitely see a potential here. They've made investments over like 10 billion, 11 billion-ish dollars, I believe. And what do you think about this whole radical movement? What do you think about the what do you think about the success of Facebook's Meta? Do you think it'll be successful in the future? How do you evaluate this project currently? What are your thoughts on that?
I think that from a perspective of a project that also builds a metaverse, when I see Meta, one of the things that I can, let's say, point out is that they have massive resources and massive human capital. So I believe they are one of the ones that can achieve this idea of having a metaverse as a new way of communication or new way of gaming. But as you said, actually, currently things are not looking good. But I also think that if there is anyone to achieve this, it will be, let's say, Meta will be one of the ones that can achieve. And also, it should be also noted that since there will be separate metaverses with separate teams. For example, Meta can be focusing on communication part. Another metaverse can be for gaming or, for example, for travel. There will be other competitors who will, let's say, make an impact in the space. But I believe in the near future, when this market condition, global macro condition will better, I think that their investment will kind of pay off and will make impact, I guess.
I totally agree with you, Caesar. I also think that Meta in general, they need to poise themselves in at least one or two industries before just focusing on the entire idea of the metaverse. And that's why maybe they're getting lost in the game. Maybe if, let's say, they focus on expanding the social media factor of it in the metaverse, creating workspaces and experiences like that where people could come together and have some sort, maybe a gaming experience. They just focus on maybe one factor and grow it really well and expand from there to other functionalities in the metaverse, then they could have an opportunity to compete on a global scale. Otherwise, I think that they won't catch up with how the market is evolving in the future. And maybe all this work could be gone to waste if they're not focused in one way and they try to grow it. They're just, I feel like he's trying to get the entire cake, but he needs to understand there's only one cut of the cake that he can get for now. So, yeah, speaking of that, it's going to be pretty competitive, in my opinion, especially that there's big players like Microsoft who are buying all these big game studios like Blizzard. And if those people think that they want to decide that they want to enter the metaverse market with all these big AAA games and titles they have, then their chances of connecting all these games together and forming a metaverse could definitely take down anything else in the market, maybe, or not take it down, just the fact that they could compete on a way larger scale, since they already have the users and they could have the facilities and the entire digital experience of it.
So even with infinite capital, infinite resources, being overly ambitious will still kill a project for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, but I think this is amazing because usually it's very unpopular opinion that Meta actually can be a relevant player in the metaverse field. So I'm super happy that you guys are also kind of share the same opinion that it actually might be. I think that really but when I saw that Meta has a higher capex cost than the whole Amazon, I think that's really crazy, and it's showing how much Mark is betting on the industry. But what is really important is that they have the user base. No one has such a huge user base like Facebook in the space, not even like Blizzard, for example. So I believe that if they do it right, they really have a huge chance to get into the space and kind of monetize the base that they have today and slowly onboard the people into the metaverse and really speed really much the adoption of Web3, because they already unlocked Web3 on their Instagram. And if they put it and somehow really make it correct, not with Facebook coin, but really with having metaverse that makes sense, I think that can be a really big player. And also I believe that it's going to take a long time, then there will be one metaverse to rule them all, if ever. And there will be a longer period where there will be multiple players, bigger players, exactly as Ali and Caesar mentioned, that will be having some specific niche on the metaverse front that will be getting the users there. And Facebook naturally is really close to the social aspect, right? Then maybe Blizzard would be amazing to capture the gaming part of the metaverse experience. So definitely, to me, Facebook is a one of the players I would actually bet that they can get some very nice looking metaverse, and they have the hardware for it as well. They have the VR goggles, right?
Yeah, they definitely, with the most recent purchase they made of the VR goggles as well, they definitely have the hardware to support it. It's actually a very interesting point that you mentioned, Matt, because you dove into the whole Facebook's got the social aspects. They have the highest user base out of everything in this world. Then you have Blizzard, giants in the gaming industry. You also have massive players like Nvidia and stuff investing in buying and acquiring companies and trying to get into this new cyberspace. So going back to the whole, it's a niche effort. Do you believe is that there's a success model within this industry? What does a metaverse need to do, or need to have, or need to include to be successful? Should it be kind of like what Mark is going for, kind of like an all-inclusive, have everything, just try and be the one and only main dominant metaverse? Or should it be more niche, if you're experienced in this, you should focus on that. If you're a social platform, you should try and highlight those aspects. Or should it be kind of like a hybrid of the two, maybe mix and match disciplines and trying to create a new cyberspace for a specific purpose? What do you think the success model should be in this industry?
I think that actually there is no currently an ideal model, because as it's as we all said, we are in an infancy period, and there is of course first mover advantage, but there is also a first mover disadvantage, which is you don't know the ideal. But for example, what I can say for my experience, that I believe that there will be as I said, there will be different teams, different versions of metaverses for travel, for gaming, and for, let's say, communication. And in the near future, I believe most of the metaverse project will understand that and will focus on specific area. For example, as Heroes of NFT, we are focusing on the gaming side. We think that we can be the metaverse hub for all the crypto gaming projects. So we are focusing on building that. So we are not focusing on traveling or, let's say, communication. But of course, we are not regarding that. But our main focus is gaming and how we can merge gaming and metaverse. So I believe in the near future, projects will understand this and focus according to that.
It's great that at such an early stage you guys have set yourself solid plan. I like that you're aware enough to be like, hey, this is what we plan to do in this year's time, and I hope that hopefully this entire plan is a huge success for you guys. I really like your approach. That's great to hear.
I think, in my opinion, I agree with Caesar, because there isn't a reliable way to know how we can position such projects. From our experience in the UAE, for example, we had to pivot our project like 5 times with our business model just to know how we could enter the market here, because people are not really familiar with such technology. They're not aware what the metaverse is. And for that case, I believe that whoever is going to discover that model or the way to position such project in the market is the ones who are going to excel at it more at a faster rate. So they're going to accelerate their project, and they can find new ways to enter new markets with it. Also, there's another factor, in my opinion. I believe that still we have technological limitations. So mostly if people are looking for a metaverse that is community driven, where people could create the environments on their own, that's a limited type of target audience. But imagine if there's a metaverse that has an AI that does the generational algorithms, where it can build environments and experiences for users, then that pushes everything to a whole new horizon in the market. And that's the type of technological limitations that I think still already exist in hardware and in software.
That's amazing. You guys already said it all, so it's gonna be hard for me. But I would say, like, short answer is do what Roblox did, right? Which is kind of resonating with what Guy said. Pick your target audience, pick some niche, open it to creators so they can really help you build the world inside your ecosystem, your metaverse or whatever. What I think it's really like one of the few aspects that we should all pay extra attention is the user experience, because the whole Web3 space is a little bit user unfriendly, and sometimes it's very difficult to get it, especially if you need to do the full cycle, like open some Binance account or some exchange account, do the KYC, buy some crypto, then buy NFTs on a different marketplaces, then go to the game, have some another wallet to interact with the smart contract. That's crazy. And especially like considering the user base of Roblox is mainly kids, it's impossible for them to do this by themselves, right? So really make it as dummy as possible for the user to just get in, explore the world, and just like, walk around, try it. And if they like it, they will stick to it, and you can build on top of that and keep adding more and more stuff. And maybe even in the first phase, let's do this Web 2.5, how they call it. Let's really like use socials account to log in. Don't focus so much about the wallet. Just make it really easy to get in, and then give the users a chance or option to get the assets out on some different wallet if they want to. If not, let them just sit the assets inside the game, because in the end, I think they don't really care about if it's a really like a crypto asset. They want to focus on the advantages and use cases it unlocks. So they want to trade it on the market. They want to rent it to someone. much more than simply having or understanding the fact that it sits in my MetaMask, and I know I have MetaMask, and if I lose my seed phrase, I'm doomed.
Yeah, definitely agree. Solid points there as well. So yeah, it's still relatively early stages. There's definitely there going to be, unprecedented growth in this market, on like never before seen. Potentially, how do you guys see the metaverse, the whole concept of what we spoke about in the future, say in 2030? How do you think the approaches, the methods used in the metaverse will be different than it is today? How do you think the metaverse itself will be different? Will be like, what do you think we'll be used to by 2030 that is a foreign concept to us right now, for instance?
I think that in the near future, the main question will be how to connect metaverse. For example, we have VR glasses, but they are not, let's say, easy to use. So the technology will evolve, and it will be very easy to adapt and connect to metaverses. And on the other side, I think as the ecosystem matures, the question of how to cooperate and, let's say, merge these metaverses will arise. For example, how to connect these two metaverses, 3, 4, 5, how people can go from one metaverse to other metaverse will be talked much. And I think that this is the future that I am seeing, because we have the metaverse in some part, but we do not know, or we do not, let's say, have a mature answer on how to connect or how to intercooperate these metaverses right now.
I think in 2030 there has to be some way where AI is integrated in generating the environments. Definitely, I can see the augmented reality is integrated properly in metaverse projects, where reality and the metaverse is combining experiences together. I'll give you an example. Going into a restaurant that exists in the metaverse, okay? You visit it in a physical reality, you will be able to have some sort of reward in the metaverse and vice versa. So to exist in both physical reality and the metaverse together is going to be an important experience. Maybe on also, like it will make businesses thrive differently. There will be a way for people to work in the metaverse other than just working in physical reality.
So yeah, I think like McKinsey is saying that by 2030, metaverse will have like 5 trillion markets. So we have a lot of catching to do to get there. But I really agree with both guys. With Caesar, that we will see much more progress on the data and this interoperability across the metaverses, because right now 180 different forces that are not really communicating with each other. I think that's just like too difficult, too scattered. So we will see more of this like data exchange, and that if you buy a, let's say, Ferrari in your sandbox, then you can actually use the same Ferrari in Decentraland as well, or maybe even in Roblox. So that's one thing. And the second thing is, yeah, as the hardware will progress, the underlying technology as well, we see a huge progress on the cloud gaming or streaming of data. I think that that's also an important point, because if you want to have some very like a nice graphical metaverse where the users can interact with each other in bigger groups, let's say even like thousands of people, you need to really figure out how to stream so much data across different players in a better quality. So I think that's also something that we can see in the next years to come, that that should improve. And lastly, I don't want to speak too long, but I think what Ali mentioned is also an amazing point, that I believe the biggest change will really be on the job market, that we will see so much jobs coming from the, let's say, old world into the metaverse. For example, I have a friend of mine, he's got like 12 architects that were working on designing buildings, and they changed and they are doing full-time like Unity developers, because they want to do the buildings in metaverses. So there are like so many new jobs coming to the market that that the metaverse will unlock, that might be the biggest change in the next 10 years or 8 years till the 2030.
Definitely very interesting points. Especially like the whole concept of. Well, I mean, I like the entire answers you guys gave, obviously, but the you said there's around like 180 metaverses out there that just do not communicate or interoperate with each other. Buying a Ferrari in one verse and then having it on the other verse. It sounds foreign to me right now, but maybe this is what we're going to be accustomed in 8 years' time. Or like Ali also made some amazing points along with Caesar, talking about maybe metaverses can be, I don't want to say the word governed, but designed with the help of like AI, procedurally generated environments could be there. And the one thing that really piqued my intrigue in this question, in the answers were jobs, new professions, maybe things that we didn't need. Sorry, maybe things or vocations or professions that we didn't even know that we would need in 8 years' time. It could be like, oh, what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm an architect. I'm a metaverse architect. I'm an engineer. Oh, I'm a designer in the metaverse, in this metaverse, in that metaverse. So it could potentially open up to the possibilities of creating entirely new employment options. So on a micro scale, this sounds amazing. On a macro scale, this could.
May I interrupt at this point?
Sure,
You
go
were
ahead.
talking about metaverse architect, and actually currently we have an architect who is real architect actually in real life working on our metaverse and build our building. So I believe it is currently happening.
It's incredible to think that it's the merge of being like it's the merge of reality with the metaverse. You're not just employed in real life, you're also employed in the metaverse, or you're strictly employed in metaverse. And currently, you guys are good for you. You're way ahead of the time by the looks of it. But currently, this law is something that's foreign to me personally, working at a game development studio. But in the near future, this could be very well the norm, the standard. On a micro scale, obviously creating new vocation opportunities, that's huge, right? On a macro scale, this is going to affect entire countries. So assuming that meta works out, will it influence, for instance, GDP of countries? What do you think the most popular metaverse will be? And this next bit is a bit of a niche question, but from a regulatory standpoint, from a legal standpoint, what do you think will happen in the future after after metaverse rather has become more mainstream and all these developments have happened?
I think if Meta becomes the main metaverse in the world, where it's being used by every single country out there, then it will influence the GDP of countries in general, because people will be spending, let's say, 4 hours a day in Meta, just like how we spend like sometimes 3 hours on Instagram swiping videos, trying to kill time. People will be doing the same thing and doing their purchases, and their entire entertainment is based in the metaverse, in Meta. And they're not only that, they're actually paying taxes for US, so that's also another legal problem that will be happening for countries. There's United Arab Emirates already being aware of this problem, and that's why they instructed their government entities to find a way to enter the metaverse that is fully designed for them. So what they're doing right now, let's say Ministry of Health will create a metaverse for their own, for the fact that users could come and they can get consultation, or they could do their paperwork in the metaverse. And they'll try to connect it together with all the government entities, where they know that any purchase that's going to happen in any governmental entity is going to go through the government here, not Meta. So there is countries that are being aware of the threat of such technology to invade other countries in a way that could influence their economy. So it's very important factor that not a lot of countries is being aware of at the moment.
Yeah, I think that's really amazing point. And to me, it comes back to the job market, where the biggest shift I think I see. And for example, we see a lot of great projects coming from Africa today in the Web3 space. And this is exactly something that normally you wouldn't probably expect, but it shows how amazing it can be in the future with these positions kind of like shifting from the Web 2 world to the Web 3 and kind of like killing the regional boundaries or the geographical boundaries. Basically, anyone who is good with computer, not necessarily developer, but as Ali mentioned, we can leverage AI for it, even for the graphical part, basically for whatever we are building. Then it will make all of these countries on the macro level that have a good IT talent, I think, progressing much faster. And even if they don't really necessarily have the IT talent today, like some of the African countries, it's visible that the people there, they see the huge opportunity that the whole Web3 presents to them. And they're trying to get in, and they're already successing in it. So I think that this might be the biggest impact on the whole GDP and macro level, that the positions will shift much more, even more than today, into the IT world, than anyone who understands stuff around computers could really make a big difference.
Anything you'd like to add, or should I move on, Caesar?
Actually, what I can actually little bit, I think, is that I think the spending habits will change. I don't know about GDP, how it can influence, but the spending habits will change dramatically because we are going to spend too much on digital of life, and our, for example, physical lives, the spending will be decreasing. But because we are going to spend too much time on more time on metaverse, our spendings on that part will increase, I guess.
Yeah, definitely, I agree with that. And when you think about it, within the grand scheme of things, our entire habits will change. Humanity will change in the near future with habits, with that we've developed over the years. They're going to start altering. This is not just a technological revolution, or evolution rather. This is also an evolution for humans. We're becoming closer to being active in both worlds, physical and digital. And truly, it's an amazing time to be witnessing this firsthand and seeing this transition step by step as it happens. Speaking of transition, obviously we know that crypto native Web3 projects are interested in metaverse for a variety of reasons, but there are a lot of Web2 projects and affiliates that are also investing and interested in the metaverse. For instance, fashion brands are also included in this. Why do you think that is? Why do you think Web2 projects, as well as Web3 projects, are so heavily interested in the metaverse and the potential that it has to offer?
May I start again? Actually, as a crypto native project, what we see as Heroes of NFT, what we see is that metaverse, gaming, and crypto/NFT are a great combination. It's a great combination because, for example, there is a great connection between metaverse and gaming, and also there is I believe, noteworthy connection between gaming and crypto. So these three are connecting heavily, and we believe that this will make the future of gaming, communication, and how NFTs and crypto will enhance this adaptation and enhance this technology. And because of that, we think that NFTs and crypto are indispensable for metaverse and gaming. And because of that, I believe most of the crypto native projects are interested in metaverse and focusing on that. And I hope that there will be some 2 or 3 cases where crypto native projects are, let's say, showing a Web2 project that we are better and our technology can make metaverse better, I guess.
It's great to hear.
I love the ending. That was really nice. And I hope so. Yeah, I hope too that this will happen. So I think today it's really, at least for me, I think a lot about the hype. So all those brands, they don't want to miss the train, and even if they don't really have the right plan of action, they just want to be present in metaverse, even if that means just opening virtual branch for 100 users that might visit it every single day, because really the Web3 metaverses, they don't have so many players today. So I think that's really what's happening today. But in the long run, I think it's a natural shift that, for example, instead of going to a bank branch somewhere when you need to open an account, you just go virtually to the brand. There could be an AI robot welcoming you there and doing with you most of the tasks just there. And another thing here is that you could really add some layers of complexity on top of it, and that might be really to scan your eyes, for example, for verification on your voice. And that can really unlock a lot of things that mobile phones might be a little bit more difficult to do, even they could do it as well. So yeah, I think definitely in the long run, it's exciting because it's just a whole new world that the brands would want to be present in. And I'm super excited to see like what will be the use cases, because today it's not so much happening yet. It's like 1 or 2 branches, something happening, but it's still definitely not at the full potential. And I think we will see a lot of great action happening in the next 5 years.
It's great insight. Anything you'd like to add, Oli, or I want to move on to the next question?
Not much to add. Just like I mentioned before, it all depends also on the blockchain. So there's many blockchains out there, and that could influence a lot of factors in this question.
Definitely.
So, if you go to Bitcoin purists, they're gonna tell you that every single blockchain out there is not really decentralized. So I have not much to say on this topic. So it all depends which one is going to rule, and from there we could see how much businesses are going to adopt that concept in their
Definitely. Yeah, there's definitely potential here, and I'm also excited about it personally. And the idea of just being able to do those, like some of the tasks that Matt mentioned, for instance, in virtual reality with virtual verification, maybe like a retina scan or like a voice scan type of thing. The idea of it at this point in time sounds so futuristic and something like out of a sci-fi movie. 8 years from now, maybe it'll be common ground, maybe it'll be the norm, like I said. And I genuinely do believe in the potential of this technology, and that really motivates me as well. Speaking of, like I mentioned, there are multiple blockchains, and there are also 180 something metaverses, maybe more to come in the near future as well. Now, we kind of briefly covered a couple of like similar issues about this question in our earlier question about this, when we talked about the success model within the industry, where we said, well, most of us said that there should be like a more niche field that metaverses focus on to be successful. Do you think there will be like a single metaverse that rules above all, that has different departments, or do you think there will be like different, multiple scattered metaverses? And do you think there'll be like a single one thing rules all type of altcoin or crypto coin, or do you think like this whole multiple variation alterations will continue in the near future as well?
I think that, as I said actually before, there will be several ones, and the isolated ones are going to be, let's say, forget it. They are not going to survive because they need to cooperate with others to survive. And I believe the future is multi-metaverse, let's say.
In my opinion, I think that there could be maybe a metaverse that will come later, which connects all these scattered metaverses that are growing currently, and could give people access to all these different metaverses. Maybe that could be inspired from Ready Player One, the movie. But there was this huge metaverse that was created. You could see like there's different worlds, there's museums, there's casinos, there's games, there's all these different experiences in the metaverse. So maybe there will be a company that will come and give people access to all these different scattered metaverses and unify the currency. So not like a million different cryptocurrency in the metaverse, which I believe it should be Bitcoin, not any other cryptocurrency, not even Ethereum, because it's the only one that is fully decentralized, in my opinion. I looked also into the Lightning Network. It's going to be the fastest, so it has so much potential to grow to become maybe the ruling cryptocurrency with the company that maybe will connect all these infrastructures together.
Yeah, I fully agree with guys. Not maybe so much about the Bitcoin, but about the metaverse for sure. So I think what we see today, that these metaverses we call are more like a word, that really like sandbox is one word, decentralized is another one. And we are building a lot of these like words. And I think that we will see for some period of time, we will see few of these dominating each of these areas. So I can imagine there will be one special metaverse or word built for the work related stuff. So it will be really like a LinkedIn where you can walk in, you can do job interviews, you can attend conferences, do some learning, whatever, and then completely different world that will focus on your gaming experience. Maybe Sandbox, maybe Roblox, maybe Blizzard, or something really like where you go and you shoot someone, and then the same asset, the same NFT that you used to shoot someone will transform to a sword in a different part of that world, and you will be killing some dragons with it. But I think that in the long run, there actually must be some layer that is connecting these worlds. And to me, that's more of the metaverse. That's really like some universe connecting these parts. And it will definitely have some of the features of this like interoperability and the asset sharing. So maybe it won't be just like one currency to rule them all, but definitely something that works similar to dollar today. That's kind of connecting all of the forex markets and the other currencies together. So you can have one asset that, or one currency that you can easily use across them. And similar with assets. So it doesn't necessarily need to be in all of the different words with some meaning, but it should be at least in most of them. And I also believe what Cesar mentioned, that if you will try to build a universe, it's really like sitting on their own, then you just won't succeed, because people don't want to have just one like Facebook, but just where you can walk in the world. I think the metaverse should be much more open to the other players there. So yeah.
I definitely agree with all of you, even though there was like a slightly difference in opinions there. But the one thing that I 110% agree on is interoperability. There's definitely going to be a lot more communication between different universes, different metaverses, whatever you like to call them. There's definitely going to be a lot more facilitating factors that make it easier to communicate, transfer, interact between different universes in the near future as well. And like I said, I'm very excited for it. Also, these were some amazing insights. Thank you very, very much to all of you for sharing your opinions on this matter as well. Having said that, I believe it is time for us to wrap it up. We're almost done with the allocated time that we had. With this opportunity, I'd like to thank each and every one of you guys, Matt, Cesar, Ali. Thank you so much. This was a ton of fun for me personally, and very insightful. As I was asking these questions and as I was listening to your answers, I felt very informed. It was definitely enlightening experience. So thank you guys so much for sharing your expertise and coming and joining this panel with us today. And thanks to everyone that organized this session. And if you guys have any closing remarks, we can get those, and then call it a night. It's Friday. Let's go watch Ready Player One or something. Do something else. It's all. I want to leave the office.
So, sounds like a plan, actually.
Yeah,
I just want to say.
I really want to watch it again, because we talked about it, we brought it up like 4 times now. Yeah, it was just such an amazing movie.
Yeah, it's true. It's really showing the future of the metaverse. I just want to say, Yarkın, really like thanks for stepping into the hard role of moderating this discussion. You did an amazing job. So it was a really pleasure being here, and I'm super happy that you are leading us through it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, same thought. It's great to be here, and thanks for the moderation, and nice to meet you all.
Likewise.
You guys made my job so much more easier. Thanks a lot. It was an absolute pleasure. Hope to see you guys in the physical world as well. And
Sure.
Take care of yourselves, guys. Bye bye. Cheers.
See you guys. Bye bye.
Bye.